Ninjago Legends, the brand new Ninjago sub-theme that has pretty much taken the whole community by storm by giving us some very high quality products and content. From day one, I have been extremely hyped for this theme and I just bought one of the new Legend sets to see if this theme is truly as great as I thought. The first wave of Legends saw the release of two sets, the Fire Knight mech and the Guardian Dragon for $120 and $150 respectively. From initial pictures, the Guardian Dragon just resonated with me a whole lot more, so I chose to buy that one for the purposes of this video. Firstly, I just want to admire this box for a little bit. This is genuinely one of the coolest Ninjago boxes I have ever seen. I think making boxes in this style is just so much more interesting than the generic black background boxes that we typically get for 18+ sets. But opening up the box, inside we get 11 numbered bags as well as this base plate, this bag containing the wings, and this other bag. That other bag contains a surprisingly small sticker sheet, the instructions, and a sick new poster. And here I have the whole set now built up, and my initial reaction is wow. I don't want this to be just like a review of the set. Instead, I'm just gonna point out specific details about this set and what they show about Ninjago Legends as a whole, starting off with that stand. The Fire Knight mech has a very similar stand surrounded by these black curvy pieces, and I just love how that looks. It gives this set just such a premium look and differentiates itself from pretty much all other Ninjago sets. Another part of these Legend sets that I feel like Legend sets do very well is the whole diorama aspect. I mean, we've gotten cool big Ninjago sets, but often those sets just come with a cool build, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can see with the Guardian Dragon, it's not just the dragon. There's the rock, a shrine, some beautiful looking water, the trees and the flowers also add a nice splash. It just looks so good, this whole diorama. Overall though, this is an aspect where I feel like the Fire Knight mech shines even more, because it depicts like a full-on battle scene with the mech fighting against some sea monster. Just looking at these two sets, I just feel like they really capture the moment in a way no other Ninjago set does. The Guardian Dragon also has these beautiful wing pieces that I believe are the biggest Ninjago wings that we've gotten, but I might be wrong about that, so feel free to correct me down in the comments below. They're actually made from cloth instead of the typical vinyl wing pieces, and the Fire Knight mech also has a cape that's just another huge and beautiful cloth piece. I think the cloth pieces just give these sets a super fancy look, and it's also great to see in these sets LEGO is definitely going the extra mile to give these Legend sets a premium feel. Speaking of the premium feel, something else that these sets do well, I think, is just the main chunk of these builds. The mech and the dragon are simply phenomenal. They look great from almost every angle and are some of the best sets in their respective categories ever. Surprisingly, something I haven't seen people talking about too much is the minifigures. Cole's Titan mech from last year was pretty controversial for only including one minifigure, so in response to that, LEGO has gone ahead and made two more sets over $100 with less than two minifigures. Honestly, I was a big supporter of Cole's Titan mech because I thought the build was just more than good enough to make up for the minifigures, and it's no different here. As I've said, the Guardian Dragon is a beautiful dragon and the Fire Knight mech is a top 5 Ninjago mech. Besides, I think that these sets having less minifigures is somewhat a good thing because the minifigures are part of the diorama aspect, and having too many minifigures on the stand could take away from the actual build. Another complaint that I have seen concerning the Guardian Dragon specifically is regarding the poseability, which is basically non-existent. The Fire Knight mech is still a very good mech in its own regard, even if you separate it from the stand and display it separately without the whole diorama aspect, but this dragon, it can't be detached from the rock, you can't move its legs or wings, and the only poses you can get are by slightly moving the neck, head, and arms. I can see why this might seem like a problem, but my question is, even if you could pose this set, what other poses would you possibly want to put it in? This set just looks so spectacular because it's standing on the rock and looking majestic with those wings and the overall size. Making this set posable would just detract from the looks of this dragon because the designers would have to prioritize stability and posability over just making this dragon look phenomenal. Not to mention, making the legs posable would undermine the stability of the dragon in its optimal pose standing on top of the rock, and so would articulation in the back. I don't know, I just personally never understood people criticizing this statue for being a statue. The only valid complaint for these Ninjago Legend sets, I think, is the price. I'm not gonna go too in depth because I already did that just a couple of days ago, but in a nutshell, I think that the Guardian Dragon is a fair price. I think because this set is so tall, in initial pictures this set is kind of squished and it looks tiny, but I'm happy to say in person this set looks huge. Not even counting the wings, this dragon is extremely tall, and just for some fun comparisons, here is Thunderfang and here is the Source Dragon of Motion. Definitely not a small set by any means. As someone who owns this set, I can confidently say that the pictures do not do this set justice, and you can only really comprehend the size of this set if you have it in person. The Fire Knight mech though, I think is definitely $20 overpriced. I think this set is the opposite case, where the pictures make this set seem bigger than it actually is, and the mech, from what I can gauge, is smaller than the other big Ninjago mechs, and with the whole stand, this set is only like 10 inches tall. 10 inches might seem like a lot, but that's still shorter than Cole's Titan Dragon mech, which is a whole $20 cheaper. I honestly thought I would have a lot more to say on these sets, but because they are display first, what you see is more or less what you get, and the only thing that might be new is the actual size. That being said, I want to dedicate this last portion of the video to just talking about Legends as a whole. I think this was such a great idea, man. I really wasn't confident in a new Ninjago sub-theme because the last two sub-themes haven't been the biggest successes. However, I think that this is the first Ninjago theme in a while that has the potential to actually stick around long term. Firstly, Legend sets are just so different from regular Dragons Rising sets. Because Legacy and Core sets were similar to the mainline stuff, I feel like those sets could have been neglected because people wanted to spend money on the new show related stuff. But for Ninjago Legends, people can still get great playsets from Dragons Rising and then get Legend sets in addition to display, because Dragons Rising doesn't really make display pieces in the style that Legends does. Secondly, it seems like Legends has an actual show that takes itself seriously and isn't just around to market the sets. Finally, I think the possibilities for Legends are literally endless. Ninjago has almost 15 years of cool concepts that were never made into set form because they wouldn't really fit into a mainline Dragons Rising wave. But Legends, on the other hand, can do whatever it wants. I think that they will stick with dragons and mechs for a while just to see if this sub-theme actually sells well, but after that, I think they could go back and do a ton of cool stuff. Never got a proper Great Devourer? No problem, Ninjago Legends Big Snake, coming out 2027. The fact that they can do this just speaks to the boundless potential of this theme. So in short, Legends is even better than I initially thought, and I just hope the show pulls through because that trailer was awesome. The sets as a whole are fantastic. I know Dragons Rising has been consistently putting out bangers, but still, these two Ninjago Legends sets just seem like LEGO put so much thought and care and effort into them. These sets are new, they're unique, and for a brand like Ninjago that's been going on for over a decade and a half, you need new stuff like this. I think Legends just shows how much Ninjago is evolving. Like, you have the main Dragons Rising story, but at the same time you have spin-offs and sets to go with those spin-offs. I think that's just great. It's also nice to see Ninjago expanding to target people outside of its core audience. Its core audience is children, but these sets are 14 plus, which is great to see because Ninjago obviously does have a lot of adult collectors. I just really hope that Ninjago Legends sells well because I would love to get more Ninjago Legends sets in the future, and from set list it does seem like we're going to be getting new Legend sets at least for January 2026, which I really hope is true. But overall, yeah, I think Ninjago Legends is shaping up to be a huge success for Ninjago. But if you want to hear me talking about the other non-Legend sets releasing this summer, make sure to check out this video on the screen right now and subscribe.